Hello, everyone, and welcome to the ritestream community update. I am Kenny, the social media and community manager for ritestream, and today we're joined by Jamie, 3CPO there, our CPO. How you doing, Jamie?
Yeah, good, Kenny. You?
Yeah, not too bad. Can't really complain. It's that Friday feeling,
Exactly.
You know how it is.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Agreed.
It's been a rough week for all of us as well on the market, but in these times of bear, we build and we continue.
It's a bear that seems to be hanging around for quite some time. Doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. But it's a good. I do kind of agree from a personal perspective. If you look at your own investments, it never looks great. But from a project perspective, it's definitely the best time for us to be able to kind of getting our heads down and getting things together to be able to capitalize the next time things turn around. So I'm kind of torn, but yeah, I've definitely stopped looking at my MetaMask, that's for sure.
Yeah, I try not to look at the portfolio in these times and just sit, relax, do other things, watch films and TV. And speaking of films and TV, we have to ask you, Jamie, have you been watching anything in particular?
Yes, I have. I have actually, which is the first time that I've watched something and I thought it's good. Is the which is even more surprising because most of the things that I think they've been putting out of late have been pretty poor. But that Andor Star Wars series,
yeah, I've been watching it. I got
to
see 3. You like it, huh?
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. Like, there's a lot of people. There's people on the ritestream team actually. No names mentioned. Edin, who he very much dislikes it because it's not, it's not Star Wars.
Doesn't feel like Star Wars.
Yeah,
there's no space wizards.
Right. So, but I kind of like the fact that it's not. It feels more gritty, a little bit real. The dialogue's good. It seems like it's more like grounded in. It's like a grounded version of that reality. So yeah, it's good, man. It's good. Well worth a watch.
Yeah.
What about you?
I've been watching it actually as well, but I'm not. I haven't watched all of them yet. I think I'm on episode 3 or 4, and it is pretty good. I will say that. It's very different to any other sort of Star Wars stuff that's out there.
Yeah, although I'm not a massive fan of like, I wish I kind of waited to watch it so you could binge it all. This whole like, let's wait another week is just like, I
think
I don't even understand why they do that. Yeah, well,
we've been spoiled.
Yeah,
that's how it used to be.
Mate, I remember, but I do remember there was like, thinking about it, and I always say this to my daughter, but like, there used to be like half an hour's worth of like programming that I would watch a week. I would get excited for like 30 minutes on like the 4 TV channels that we had here in the UK, and there was like one like half an hour program. It's like, and now it's just like it's just endless. But yeah, you're right. We have been spoiled, so therefore I want my Andor now.
Hurry up, Disney. Get to it. Right, so we're going to go through a couple questions, some that are like quite common that I've heard, and then what we'll do is at the end of the session of all of the like questions that I've asked now, we're going to go to an AMA from you guys in the chat. So at the end of the session, you can like leave your questions there. We're going to pick 5 of the best questions, and those lucky few who get picked will also get a little bit of a ritestream right token reward for your question, your contribution to the discussion. So yes, first things first, I have to ask, and that is, Jamie, are there any upcoming features in the application or website?
Yeah, a lot. So in terms of the ritestream app, there is a whole host of new developments that we're looking to put in place in Q4. And these are very much kind of focusing on kind of improving the quality of life and overall kind of experience for the users of the app on Android. And these range from like small changes to the UI to the way that the kind of even small things like the copy and paste functionality. Like, there are things that I wouldn't say slip through the net, but definitely when using it, there are ways that we can make the experience better for those who are digesting content on the platform. The other thing is we're still not successfully listed on the iOS store. I probably sound like a broken record here. So, like the last time I was probably on one of these calls, we said something similar in terms of we hope that we're in the final stages of being able to get a submission that gets approval. So yeah, we know what the final change. I'm going to say like the final changes that we need to make to get Apple's approval of the app getting listed. Once that's done, obviously we'll let you guys know as soon as possible. So that's the app. Android changes. Still waiting for Apple to get the store listed. From a website, there's a couple of kind of key projects that we're looking to work on. One is that we are going to be revitalizing the overall kind of look and feel of the project, and we're kind of developing, our designers are developing like a very strong contemporary aesthetic that I think will really kind of help bring it to life. And as a result of that, we're aiming to have a brand new website with supporting assets complete in Q4, hopefully before Christmas, so that we don't need to worry about it over the Christmas break, which I think will look really, like, it will look nice. I think it will really kind of help to bring the project to life for people who don't necessarily know about it, and will use the website as a way to understand more about it, and it will position us in a completely different light. So I'm really excited to kind of get that out. The other side of things is we're really focusing on getting the launch pad element of ritestream up and running as soon as we can. So as I'm sure you're all aware, like there are kind of different distinct components to the ritestream project as it stands at the moment. You kind of have the watch to earn platform and the NFT marketplace, but the core concept has always come from the launch pads, and really this is from our founders' desire to have a way for people to bring their stories to life and utilizing crypto in order to do that, because there are very much kind of antiquated methods for getting TV and film projects funded, which still exists today, which we need to kind of navigate. Ritestream obviously wants to be a potential solution to that. So a lot of our focus is on getting the launch pad up and running as soon as possible. We fully scoped the elements from a technical perspective, and we've built out all of the key user journeys in wireframe format. So we kind of know what we need to do. We're going to be adding a new look and feel to those wireframes and then putting that to development, aiming for this to go into production early 2023. So yeah, seeing some of the designs looking great. We've got the technical specs in place. We've got the wireframes in place. We just need to start developing it now. So yeah, plenty going on right across the board from a website and app perspective.
Fantastic. Thank you. And I'm sure if anyone has been following us on our social media platforms, or well, unless you've been living under a rock, everyone will know that we've partnered with Raqqa and their network, the USM Metaverse. Can you tell us more about Ritestream's partnership with Raqqa and USM?
I can, Kenny. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's probably also worth kind of reiterating that as a project, we're putting quite a lot of emphasis on creating meaningful partnerships with a variety of different brands. And there's a large element of that which will be on us kind of providing film and TV content in the form of Ritestream cinemas to a variety of different metaverses. We're big believers in the kind of the power that metaverses will have one day. Like, I know there's an obvious hype train on it, and you need to wait, or we all probably need to wait for the technology to be at a point where it gets the level of mass adoption that it sees. But we as a project kind of believe that that's it will become the future, and we want to be a key part of that in providing kind of entertaining solutions to metaverses in Web3. So it's probably also worth kind of pointing out before we talk about Raqqa that if you've been following the project from the start, you would have seen that we had a relationship with Planet Theta in place for quite some time, which is essentially a very similar kind of agreement. For those of you that don't know, Planet Theta are a VR metaverse that's going to be coming soon, that will allow people to essentially, it's like a dating site. It's like Tinder in the metaverse. They'll probably shoot me for that because that's not their marketing tagline. But it's essentially it's a dating app in the metaverse which people can access via. Is it exclusively Oculus?
I think it's on the store. Yeah, exclusive.
Yeah.
From what I understand.
And so, as part, if you're a Planet Theta user, obviously you can have dates in the metaverse. These can take place in a variety of locations right across Planet Theta, including catching a movie from the ritestream library in the ritestream cinema. So it's a really kind of interesting concept that we have there. Whilst that gets built out in preparation for the Planet Theta launch, we have also then, as Kenny mentioned, launched a new relationship of a similar ilk with Raka last week. So the relationship will see, as I mentioned, a kind of similar agreement where ritestream cinemas will be built for users of the USM metaverse to watch content from the Lightstream library from within USM itself, which is, again, it's a really interesting concept. For those of you who are not aware of USM, it's a large popular metaverse on the Binance Smart Chain. And this is just kind of one of the elements of our relationship with the Raka brand that we have up and running. Kenny, do you want to touch on some of the latest incentivized campaigns and the impact that they've been having that I think are running this week, correct?
Yeah, I was going to say, if you guys actually aren't following our social media, you should. There's a lot of opportunities there to win some rewards by following us and our partner Raka. So we have that going on, and always stay tuned for all the updates that are coming out. There's a lot of developments happening and taking place, and we're very excited to share them with you all. And it's really exciting time to be a right streamer because things are looking very good. Despite the market.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, there's not a lot we can do about that. I wish there was, but actually, no. I'm not even going to dwell. I'm not even going to dwell on it. Like now, we know what we need to do with this time, and I think it'll be really interesting because with both of these metaverses, we're looking to kind of build out. It'll be interesting to see like how the build of the actual cinemas come together. Yeah. I'm thinking plush velvet seats, purple velvet seats. That may or may not happen because I personally won't be developing anything. But look, these are the start of our plans for having similar relationships with metaverses right across the board, and the partnership team will be looking to kind of expand this. And there's probably kind of some very few obvious names that I'm not going to chuck in here, but who we'll be having conversations with about doing something similar. So yeah, exciting. And I think to help us spread the word on that also, it's probably worth pointing out that we've recently announced the fact that we're working with a new PR agency to help us push all of our messages. This whole kind of approach for relationships in the metaverse is going to be a key part of that, certainly in the beginning. So we're working with an agency called Clear Story, who have quite a lot of experience in the kind of the Web3 and crypto space. They've got offices in Hamburg, Dublin, and Bangkok. Very glamorous. And so, yeah, it's probably worth pointing out that we're working with them on a number of stories to help push the project throughout 2023. So, yeah, watch the space because there'll definitely be more regular news stories for us to be able to share around Ritestream.
I was going to say you already answered a lot of the questions I was going to ask, like if there are any other partnerships or developments in the work, and I guess that's one of them.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, like ultimately, yes, and it's not just around the metaverses. Like we want to be able to partner and have a more like a string of relationships that are visible on the project, and we want that to be with kind of similar like-minded projects. And we're always happy to hear what people's thoughts are on who we should be working with, or if there are kind of like niche projects that sit in a similar kind of space to ours around kind of entertainment, TV, media, cinema, fundraising. So yeah, by all means, please send them through. Ultimately, Kenny's going to be working on some of this stuff anyway, so
so you can reach me. I'm available on our social media or on our Telegram, our Discord. I'm very approachable, I can assure you. But yeah, that's the thing. We're also not only working with projects in Web3 and the crypto space, we're also working with other people. We're forming relationships and partnerships with people in Web2, the more traditional media, entertainment outlets and stuff. But there are
I think that's a really good point. And I know, like Kenny, you've had I think you had like Natalie and Eddie on here who are like an all-star. They're like the all-star cast. I'm like the B list. I'm like the C-list in comparison to those guys. But
Come
you know,
on,
like they have like a lot of caliber with you know, like Natalie was on, she built fashion TV. Eddie, he worked for Disney. He reminds me of that every 5 minutes.
every day.
And so, but you know, like, it's how do we best kind of leverage these relationships that actually exist? It's a really good point, Kenny. Like, it's not just about like the metaverse, the Web3, but you know, like how can we leverage some of the classic relationships that actually have existed for quite some time?
Absolutely. So this one is kind of is often asked, and we always kind of have this put to us. But is it possible if you give us an update on? What was that?
What was that, Kenny? What happened?
I think we lost the connection. Someone hacked into our stream and did something funny. I have no idea what that was.
No idea. All right, well, we'll gloss over that, shall we?
We'll
Crypto Nights.
It never happened. Crypto Nights. So you have a couple of words to say, something to show, something to toy and tease us with a little bit.
I do. Yes, I do. So just for clarity, for anybody listening who's got absolutely no idea what Crypto Nights is, or how Kenny managed to pull off that absolutely amazing bit of editing, seamless. Yeah, so Crypto Nights is going to be a reality TV show series from our very own Emmy Award nominated team, where promising Web3 projects have a unique opportunity to seek funding, mentoring, and a launch pad to success by pitching to a panel of established crypto entrepreneurs. So essentially, what we're doing is, again, if you think about like where we've come from as a business, like Riaz, I'm sure you're all aware, our CEO and founder, like his background is in TV production. Like he's actually produced some really good stuff and had Emmy, you know, has been Emmy nominated. And we're keen to start building out the ritestream original platform of shows, starting with Crypto Nights. I think the other thing that's probably worth mentioning with Crypto Nights is what we want to try and do, because this will be distributed mainstream when it's built out, is really help to kind of cast a positive light and awareness of blockchain to a wider audience, demonstrating how projects within the space can use cutting edge tech to kind of enrich, entertain, and educate, which I think is particularly worth bearing in mind, because, you know, there can be quite a lot of negative press around crypto as a whole. Things like this, the incidents that have happened this week don't really help, but that doesn't mean to say that the entire ecosystem doesn't have value, right? But that's difficult for people who sit outside of it to really kind of understand that. So I think the more that we can do to help positively raise the opportunity that exists within blockchain technology. Throughout the series, kind of hopeful projects will be attempting to convince the Knights they're worthy of investment. They will have one shot, will need to master their pitch, stand up to scrutiny, and do all of that in front of the cameras. We're essentially creating a reality TV show, which will have, I believe, up to a maximum of 8 episodes in series 1, where we have a panel of crypto entrepreneurs, some of which will be well known, who will essentially kind of provide funding and mentorship to projects who successfully pitch to them. So it's a pretty familiar format, I guess, from anybody who digests reality TV in any way, shape, or form. It's going to be super interesting. At this stage, we're still kind of tying up who the Knights will be, and then we'll start to, I guess, like more once the collection is launched, like more with a little bit more gusto, try to get the projects on board to be part of the show. Now, the interesting thing is, how is this funded? So rather like the ritestream launchpad as a whole, where people will put their projects up and they're going to be getting funded via people to essentially ensure that their project can get produced, Crypto Nights will be exclusively funded through the sale of digital assets. Now, what you see there are current mock states of the assets themselves. These will be 3D, fully rendered. And ultimately, this collection is one that aims to provide utility to holders in the form of rewards, voting mechanics, etc., etc., etc. So there's a few things that we need to do to tie up and finalize the designs themselves, and finalize the smart contracts and a few other bits and pieces. But as you can see, that I think they're looking really good. These will be in full 3D for holders, and I think they're also going to rotate or will be rotatable. But the key thing here really is that these provide people with a way to not only help fund the show, but to be able to be part of its success and shape the future of Crypto Nights as a brand. I think it's really interesting because obviously I think we've created like a really strong aesthetic here. And I think we tie that with a very entertaining show. That's going to be something which has a lot of value to the holders of the assets themselves. So yeah, that's kind of like where we're at. Release is still to be decided. We're aiming for Q4 this year, but clearly we are very mindful of the state of the current market, and we want to make sure that, because we will be putting quite a lot of investment behind this in particular, that it's going to an audience, that there's going to be a receptive audience to it. So assets are almost complete. We're waiting to build out the smart contracts and the minting site, which will sit on, Kenny, if you move forward one side, which will sit on cryptonights.tv. And yeah, watch this space. But yeah, exciting. It is genuinely exciting because I think we've got it looks like a cool project. So it's something that I would buy if I wasn't already working on it myself. So yeah, plenty more to come.
Buying more and more NFTs day by day.
Yeah, I mean, also I say that, but then I've made so many terrible purchases lately. I almost feel like whenever like if you look at a collection and it's like the moment that you go to purchase it, it's like the floor price just decimates. Like, I don't know. Like how they say, like, is it like Steve Aoki? Like when he purchases an NFT, the project's doomed. That's how I feel. Like like my wallet purchasing an
as soon as you do it, it's like doing great, and then as soon as you enter,
terrible. Yeah, shambles. So yeah, keep an eye out for more updates from Crypto Nights.
Brilliant. Thank you, Jamie. Now we're at the latter part of the session. We're going to take some of your questions. So if you've got a question, feel free to ask us in the chat. We're going to pick the best ones, and I'll give you guys a little bit of time to write your questions. The best questions that are chosen will receive a reward as well. So when you if you have your answer, your question answered, be sure to drop us a line on our Telegram, for example. So that is ritestream, just t.me/ritestream, and our mods will take care of you. So let's see where the question. Let's find our best one. Let's see. Hello, I want to ask a question about the UHN onboarding new series and movies on the ritestream application. I've always wanted a place where new releases series are in RT ritestream. I'm assuming that's what it is. So how are we onboarding new series and movies?
Oh, right. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm guessing this is probably something that was covered previously by the content team. So how it works is the content team will work with a variety of different studios, publishing houses, etc., to ensure that the content we have on the app is suitable, relevant. People want to watch it. So it's really just done on kind of like a case-by-case basis. We have a dedicated content team who are working within the kind of the confines of the ritestream ecosystem to go out and get series and movies that will then go on to the app itself. So like clearly there will be limitations on that, right? Both by geography and by the type of content that we're likely to be able to get our hands on. So it won't be anything from Disney, certainly not in terms of their new titles like Netflix originals, etc., etc., etc. So there's going to be part of that which won't be debuting on the app for, I guess, like pretty obvious reasons. The rest of it is just around, I guess, like an ongoing process that the content team have to optimize the content library we're able to offer our users via the app.
Okay, thank you. And here we have a question here. What are the most important and immediate goals for ritestream in 2023? If you had a list of the top 3 key performance metrics, what would they be?
Key performance metrics, Kenny?
I don't know. Data. More data, my friend.
Yeah, good question. So, I mean, like, you could obviously point towards token price as a key metric for success. However, you know, like sometimes you're kind of swimming against the tide no matter what you do, right? Particularly in the current market, you could have some of the strongest currencies in the world and you're still going to be seeing negative price movements. I would say that there would probably, however, be something around like volume of token holders that have right, and the length of time that people are holding onto the token. But from a project perspective, I would say like the key things for us next year will be volume of projects that we have submitting themselves to the launch pad. Like we really want TV and film content producers to start to get their projects funded via ritestream. And so a key metric for that will really be like how many projects are we able to get on board? And then similarly, I guess, like how many funders are we able to get on board? Because we really need to make sure that we've got like variety of people who are able to fund these projects. And part of that will also come from people who aren't necessarily from blockchain, which is why, as we've talked about previously, we have stuff like the banks integration where people are able to purchase via credit card. Like we want to try to lower the barrier to entry, make it as easy as possible for people to be able to fund. So I would say like for next year, the 2 key metrics outside of anything token related will be the volume of projects and the volume of funding that we're able to channel through the platform. And then obviously there's going to be all the soft metrics, which I keep badgering people like Kenny on in terms of, you know, like community size, volume of community engagement, you know, the sentiment around the brand, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. This is kind of like something that you mentioned in your answer there about like the entry level. We have a question here. Is your platform suitable for crypto beginners, or does it only appeal to professional users? What is the
Yeah. No, ideally it would be crypto beginners. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. We need to be able to appeal to both. And I think like personally, and this is very like my own personal view is, and I'm sure it's like, if you can remember back to when you first started using blockchain or crypto, it's like, what the hell am I doing? Like, what am I doing? And nothing was easy. Like nothing was made easy. And I think there's a real responsibility we have to just make this thing, like just make it easier for people to use. What's the, I don't see the downside of doing that really. And so we want to be able to have, you know, if we want to be able to have projects launched via ritestream, which have, you know, multi-million-pound budgets, that money needs to come from somewhere. And that funding needs to come from, I would suggest, like there's going to be a percentage of that which needs to come from people who sit outside of this space currently. So I wouldn't even say like crypto beginners, yes, but like people who don't even use crypto need to be part of this.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a mixture of integrating crypto beginners and people who are like not even crypto native at all.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So, okay, let's grab another question here that we can find. We touched on this earlier, but I guess it would be good to kind of like find like kind of key in on one of the things here that is mentioned is like the key benefit. I'd say the partnership between ritestream and Raka and USM for the community. What's the key benefit, would you say?
I'd say like for the community perspective and ultimately for everyone involved with the project, it's about ritestream partnering with a brand that has kudos within the space, right? So they've obviously been around for some time. They've got a big community themselves. They've got a project that, it's a thing that actually works. And they're doing a lot of press and news, and there's an opportunity for us to be integrated with them, as it would do with any partnerships, right? If you have like trusted brands that you work with, it helps like your overall credibility as a project. So I would say, like, for the community as a whole, it's an opportunity for us to like be part of something which is getting more and more ties within crypto and within blockchain. And for us to, I guess, like have, it's about those kind of like, it's really about like the direct ties, to be honest with you. I'm not even going to try to come up with some kind of fluffy answer in terms of like, oh, it's because of this. Like, ultimately, we all benefit. The community also benefits by the fact that we're bringing new people in. I mean, I think as Kenny mentioned, we've got those bits and pieces that are going on this week, right? With which have like rack of rewards against them. I can't remember the name of the token, sorry. And that's bringing new people into the community. So new people coming into the community, learning about the project, being active on the channels, like it helps to bring new people in who are interested to create a more vibrant, engaged community right across the board. And I guess like the more that we do of this, the more that you're kind of adding to the top of the funnel, who then hopefully become right holders, who then hopefully will, like it's just, it helps the whole cycle of the project.
Yeah, absolutely. We have another question from Casto Noart, who's actually something I think people will be curious to know about. I know there is a current delay in the build for the iOS version of ritestream application, but I would like to know if ritestream is actually usable via web, so iOS streamers can use the web version. Web
no. No, it's not, right? So it's not, because it's application based. However, how much do I want to say? So, however, like it's not beyond where our thinking is at the moment in terms of making it viable for the content to be viewed outside of applications, i.e. in a browser. So no, but probably yes at some stage. So, but I'm not committing to that. So it's a no, but yes. It's a it's a rubbish answer.
Oh, it's all right. Look, we you got to be answering truthfully and honestly, and
that's all I can do, mate.
Don't want to make too many promises that we don't intend to keep. So, yes, no, in this regard.
I think, like, ultimately, I think it's a really valid question. I think it's a good question. I think that if we have content, we need to make it easy for people to digest it. If there are issues with people being able to get access to it, we need to find alternatives. Yeah.
Okay. So I think that will be it. I think those are 5 questions that we've picked there. Thank you, everyone. And Jamie, thank you for taking time away.
Thanks, Kenny. Thanks for having me.
To join us. And it's always a lot of fun chatting with you, Jamie, and always a lot of fun chatting with you guys in the ritestream community, whether it's in this chat here or in the Telegram or Twitter. By all means as well, make sure you follow us to stay up to date on all the latest news. That's ritestream_IO on Twitter. You can search on Telegram. It's t.me/ritestream for Telegram.
Or Discord. Get to Discord.
Discord as well. Yes, we also have Discord. In fact, in our Twitter, you will find our links in the description there. So that's how you stay up to date. And we've got more things coming up, announcements coming up in the future, AMAs coming out in the future, more news about crypto nights, redesigns, everything. So it's an exciting time. So be sure to follow us. And I think that's I think that's about it. So
cool. Thanks, Kenny. Cheers, guys.
Thank you. Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend.